What is up, guys? It's Scott. Today we are back with Scott Talks. Today we're going to be talking about college basketball. The top 25 rankings came out, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, I want to introduce a very special guest, Mr. Dionysius. He has his own podcast called The Book of Dionysius. We will link that in the description. But first off, man, thanks for being here. I really appreciate that.
Man, pleasure having me, man. I'm excited to talk about these. With these rankings coming out, man, it's going to be an interesting year of college basketball.
Definitely. So let's go straight into it. They released these rankings on the 6th. ESPN did their top 25. And let's just start with the Blue Bloods. So UNC last year they gave Coach K a nice little farewell gift of beating him. They lost in the championship game, but this team they come in ranked number 1 by ESPN. How do we feel about that?
I like the number 1 ranking, especially with that monster of a season last year. Definitely were a favorites for a lot of people, and just with that team with such a strong front court and back court, they will run you out the gym, and it's really hard to adjust to that defensively for a lot of these new college teams with such fast guards and fast centers, and UNC has that really strong core that is tough to navigate around.
Yeah, they definitely have a tough core. I mean, they have guys like Caleb Love coming back, Armando coming back, and I mean, a lot of people said if he didn't get injured, that really could have changed that whole Kansas game. So it's gonna be real interesting to see them. We got RJ Davis too. I think that team has a lot of experience, and surprisingly, they didn't really have as many growing pains as people thought. I mean, they had a little bit of a rough regular season start, but I mean, that second half of the year, they were on fire. Let's see who's next. The next Blue Blood is Kentucky, number 4, my Kentucky Wildcats. How are we feeling about that?
Man, Kentucky is about to have, I'm going to say this now, about to have a monster season, especially we know Kentucky is famous for their recruiting, always signing major recruits. They're interested in the number 1 recruit, DJ Wagner. DJ Wagner,
Kentucky
number 1.
DJ.
He's I think they said he hasn't decided yet, but they're in between him and Louisville. But Scott, let me read you off some of these recruits that they've got. Justin Edwards, 6'7", small forward coming out of, I believe, New Jersey. Mackenzie's going to Duke. Aaron Bradshaw, 7-foot center from New Jersey, 5-star. We got Robert Dillingham, 6'2", from California. We got the recruiting is just always been crazy from Kentucky, and seeing some of those recruits, we get 6'8", 6'7", small forwards, power forwards. That team is going to be very dominant in the paint, very dominant on the floor, and a lot of these recruits, just like UNC, is becoming a running and gunning type of style of play that we're going to see. So it's definitely going to be interesting with these young recruits coming in and seeing how much they're going to produce.
Definitely. I mean, like you said, the recruits are crazy. I mean, Aaron Bradshaw, I believe he plays with DJ. I don't know if it's at Camden Inn on the circuit, but I know he definitely plays some ball with him. So that could be a nice little, enticing piece to get him there. But like you said, that team is nice. And over the years we saw a lot of one and dones from Kentucky with these top recruits. But they have guys like Big O coming back, National Player of the Year, walking double. Wheeler's coming back. He got some injuries towards the end of the year, but he's one of the best playmakers. So, I mean, this team's not only bringing in some of the best talent, but they still have a few great guys, though. So, that, like you said, that should be a real interesting team.
Most definitely. We've seen these number 1 and number 2 teams have, especially last year, the injuries were a lot of prominent guys who got, thankfully not bad injuries, but enough to where they weren't 100%. So, it's going to be interesting seeing these teams come back at 100% and seeing how much they're going to dominate in these regular season games.
Definitely. Like you said, injuries played a huge role. And I'll talk about Duke. So this team lost a lot of some of its players from last year, but they come in with some of the best players in the country. I mean, they got Kyle, Derek Lively, and Derek Whitehead. And they also got Jeremy Roach. He's, I believe, a sophomore this year. So they don't have Coach K this year, but they still have one of the top recruiting classes.
Almost definitely. Duke is always going to be solid, and that recruiting class is big, just like Kentucky's. We got Mackenzie Mbako coming out of New Jersey, 6'8" power forward who can just move the ball. Very versatile, very fluid. We have Jared McCain, 6'4" guard who's just crafty on the floor. Very crafty, very detailed, and what I like about Jared McCain's game is very fundamental, and it fits in with that core at Duke. One of the most fundamentally sound teams in college basketball, in my opinion, definitely. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see that core with Mackenzie and Jared coming in and how much they're going to facilitate.
Most definitely. Like you said, that team, they're never going to be short on players. And
Not at all.
One of the last Blue Bloods, Kansas, who was the national champs last year, they lost Braun and Ochi to the draft. Of course, they had great things. But interesting enough, they're still ranked number 6 in the poll. So people still feel they still have a strong chance to be a nice team.
I think that's going to be an interesting team for real because you have their recruiting class is good. Kansas always has been big on recruits, but it's going to be interesting seeing how they're going to adjust with losing those pieces and how they're going to build back. They talked about recently, Mikey Williams has had interest in Kansas. I don't know if he's received an offer yet, but he has gone on visits to Kansas. So it's going to be interesting seeing how they're going to build that back and see because Kansas has been solid. Kansas isn't shy of March Madness and playing in those environments, so we can't count them out.
Yeah, definitely. Kansas is, like you said, it's a team that they're not shy. They have great recruits. But just take the conversation somewhere else real quick with guys like Mikey Williams, Bronny, Jared McCain, who's a large ticket following. These NIL deals, man. I mean, Bronny just got one from Nike, which I think is, dope, keep it in the family. Yeah. But there was one player at Ohio State, plays football. He was getting, close to $1 million in NIL. How do you personally feel about these NILs?
Me personally, I am very excited to see these players get paid. I'm not opposed to that. It's just going to be interesting to see we're in an era now where it's like you look at players like Mikey Williams, high school, who's 3 million or something followers on Instagram. He's pulling up to schools and Benzes and trucks and stuff like that. It's interesting to see the shift and because we've seen players be hyped out of high school and LeBron. We got players like that very hyped out of high school and that whole story like that. It's just interesting to see it now on such a social media scale where it's like
definitely
seeing players come in with so much hype around them and just making sure hopefully they stay focused on the basketball but it's nice to add that incentive of the NIL deal and seeing them get paid because that is very important.
Definitely. And I think that just goes into my next question. With that, do you feel, and maybe not even just in basketball, just in general, do you feel now athletes sometimes are more playing for social media versus the love of the game sometimes?
I think we can see that because we even see it at a young age. Yeah. Man, you see those you see it on Instagram, TikTok, the AAU players, bouncing it off the head, throwing lobs off the floor. It's definitely, we're in an era now where it's like, I'm not going to pass up the easy way. I'm about to, throw it off the backboard and, push it out to the corner and shoot a three and not even look at it when I shoot it. We're in an era now where everyone is trying to develop a highlight reel. And I think it can be detrimental to some players because some players are going to think, in order for me to get noticed, I have to produce highlight reel plays and stuff like that. But no, coaches are still looking for fundamentally sound players, still looking for players who can team first, pass first basketball. Those players aren't shadowed upon, even though they might not make the best plays. You need players like that in order to succeed. So I think it's cool to have highlights, but I don't think you should go out there on the court just focusing on that,
Definitely. I think you just made a great point that, like you said, these highlights might be what go viral, might be what people like to see on social media. But like you said, the college coaches and even just different high school coaches, even they don't always want the flashiest guy. They want the guys going to come in, play their role, rebound, play defense. So I think you made a great point there. And I think, like you said, we're happy to see these guys get paid, but we just got to make sure they stay focused and stay grounded. Don't get caught up in the hype now. Because like you said, it's cool right now. Especially if you're a top guy. Like, it's cool. Okay, you can make $1 million right now. That's dope. But you also can make another $25 million,
if you keep playing and you don't, most definitely. Because that can get in your head.
Definitely.
I'm 19 with $2 million. Bro, what am I going to... It's hard to keep the focus on basketball, when it's a 19-year-old with $2 million, like
I agree.
His focus, you got to keep that focus, got to keep that drive, and got to keep that main mentality of why you playing.
You said it right there. Mm-hmm. That's the quote right there. Focus on why. Remember why you're doing it. That just doesn't apply to basketball, anything in life.
Most definitely.
And then I guess to take it back to the NCAA, you got a team like UCLA, who I think is the last blue blood on our list right here. Yeah. They're ranked 10. They were Final Four team in 2021, and they have guys from that team, Tiger Campbell, Jaquez Jr., they got Amari Bailey and Boner coming in. So they have a nice, solid team. I think that they're trying to still solidify their dominance back into, okay, we're one of the top teams. I mean, they've had some great guys over the years. So I think, they could always make a mix. But now, one of your teams that we talked about before the show, UVA, University of Virginia. So this this has been a very dominant team over the past years. Man. They missed the tournament last year, but I don't think that has any reflection of how they're going to do this. I think they're a great team. I mean, 6 of their top scorers from last year are returning. So I think, like you said, this UVA squad.
This UVA squad is nothing to play with because you think I don't think it was you. They missed it last year, but the year they played, who'd they play? Was it Syracuse?
Which game? It might have been Q's.
I think they played someone, and it came down to like a last place situation, and they got booted out of the. I think they were in the final. They were going to the Final Four, and then they lost that game to go to the Final Four. But no, UVA is a sleeper. I feel like people forget about UVA and how dominant they are in their conference and their division, and UVA is a team to definitely look for coming out because, like you said, a lot of their scorers are coming back. Once you have that strong core, I feel like college basketball is a lot about core strength and having that strong division with you. Once you have that and you build around that and you have these guys in the locker room who are leaders and can help the young guys and know how to play, the coach knows how they play and the players he's dealing with, it becomes very not easy because no game is easy. Definitely. It becomes exceptional. It becomes lighter to win a lot of these games, especially these games that they must win in order to develop more into the conference. Yeah, but
definitely
UVA is definitely a team to look at.
I think you made a great point there. That's a team that, like you said, they're a sleeper because they got a great core. Then some other teams to kind of round out. We got Arkansas. They have one of the best. They have one of the best recruiting classes, which is kind of interesting because you don't usually associate Arkansas.
Right.
But they got Nick Smith, who's projected to be a top 5-10 pick. Jordan Walsh, Anthony Black. They're all top. So that's 3 top 15 recruits. So that Arkansas team, they're playing in the SEC.
Yeah.
So the SEC is becoming, it usually was known for football, but it's becoming a basketball conference. So
most definitely. We see teams like Georgia coming in. Georgia has been playing very well, playing good basketball. We got went to Georgia, Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
Anthony Edwards came out of Georgia. He came out of that program. So the SEC is definitely starting to touch into more basketball. We see Arkansas, Alabama has been playing. Alabama has been playing very well.
School.
They went to the Final Four, I think, last year. Or a year before that. But Alabama, Georgia, these teams are definitely starting to peek into more of the basketball field and developing their programs for that. So it's most definitely going to be the SEC is definitely going to be a top dog in these divisions.
Definitely. And then our last team on the list we want to talk about was Houston. They're ranked in the top 3. So they got Marcus Sailer, who's one of the best defenders in college basketball.
Oh, my goodness, bro.
He had an injury last year, but before that injury, he was looking like he was crazy. And I think I'll pull it up after the podcast and put it on the screen here.
Yeah.
But there was some graphic that was like in pick and roll defense, people were shooting almost less than 30%. Like he was just straight clamps. And they got Jarris Walker. He went to IMG Academy. They call him the man child. He's a top-ranked recruit. He's a big, strong guy who's going to come in right here. And then the past 2 seasons, they have 2 Elite 8 appearances, 1 Final Four run, and 60 team wins. This is a very poised team.
Yeah.
Barring any injuries, I definitely see them in the mix. But just to go off of that, I guess who's been maybe one of your favorite college players? Whether they went to the NBA or not, who's just been one of your favorite college players over these past maybe 10, 20 years, just your lifetime? Or, even if it's a guy you didn't get to watch personally, who's someone maybe that you enjoyed watching?
Man, I'm going to have to give it to Ja. Ja in college was – and a lot of people, when they see Ja, they see the later years in college, man. His freshman and them years when Ja was playing, oh, my goodness. Go look up those clips when Ja was playing freshman year. Ja has been one of my favorite players in the league and in college. Ja has been playing great. Who else I would have to say? I don't know. Yeah, Ja would have to be he's up there.
Yeah, Ja was electric. I think mine are probably Corey Sanders, just from the whole home team groups here, the whole mixtape era. I loved Corey Sanders at Rutgers. He definitely left his mark there. He's playing pro now, so huge props to him. I'm a huge Corey Sanders fan. Then Melo Trimble at Maryland, he was one of my favorite guys. He had some big moments. I still think he should have went out early. Just put that out there. If you're watching this, Melo Trimble, but I think he was electric. There's been some good guys. I liked what Duke team was that? The Duke team where they named the haircut when it was Justice Winslow, Quinn Cook. That was a cool team. But there's definitely been some good guys. But like you said, I think Ja. I mean, I just remember watching him at Murray State, and Murray State surprisingly they have some great guys. They have guys like Ja, Cameron Payne, and a few other guards. There was one other guy, I think it was Isaiah Cannon, came out of there. So they're a team that they are producing guards and they're producing them at a high level. So like you said, that Ja,
I would have to say,
monster.
I guess I'm a glutton for guards because I love watching guards move, especially on the court. De'Aaron Fox was always one of my favorites in college too. Oh my gosh, bro, watching him speed down the court and just get any bucket he really wanted was great. I love De'Aaron Fox game. Because he played for Kentucky.
Yeah,
that Kentucky team was crazy.
That was crazy. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, De'Aaron Fox, I'm pretty sure he played with Bam.
He played with Bam. No, yeah, that was the year because that was the year they got knocked out, and you remember they were in the locker room. They did that heartfelt crying.
Yep.
Yeah, Bam was tough in college too.
That was a crazy team. Yeah, that team had De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk.
That team,
Briscoe,
that Kentucky team was crazy.
Lord, that's a stacked team. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, he just was I remember the game. I want to say it was in the tournament. They faced UCLA versus Lonzo because LeVar was playing, and I love huge Lonzo fan, but De'Aaron Fox, on the national stage.
And Malik Monk at college too, when he was, oh my goodness, when he got the ball past the 3-point line, say goodbye, bro. It was over.
Too quick, and that's the crazy thing. Like you said, he could shoot lights out, but that man could dunk too. Yeah. He could slam that thing down.
Kentucky was really getting any bucket they wanted, especially with Bam in the paint.
Yeah, those were some great teams.
Yeah, that was a tough team.
But speaking of Kentucky, speaking of things exciting, you have a podcast.
I do.
Called Book of Dionysius. You want to tell me a little about why you made it? Just kind of what was your inspiration for that?
So I've always loved giving information and sort of reaching people who might not have that information that I have or like that I might want to express to someone else. So it was definitely just sort of like providing information for people and just teaching them some lessons that might help them and better their lives.
Definitely. I love that. And then with that too, what do you want to do after college?
Definitely want to focus on the podcast, maybe go into something else media field like TV production, but definitely this is going to be a focus.
That's dope. So we can expect, we're hearing it now, so we can expect that even after
check it in.
Even after school, you're gonna still continue this. That's
most
dope.
Definitely.
And then with that too, I know that you've now on your second season now?
Second season.
So you're on your second season. In those 2 seasons so far, what's probably been your favorite episode and why?
The creativity episode I did with Jacoby is up if y'all want to go watch that.
We're gonna hyperlink it right here.
Definitely a good episode. We talked about life, just spirituality, creativity, and how that affects a person. So it was a good episode. Most definitely check out the podcast.
That's real dope. And then I guess my final question for you is, if you could leave one piece of advice with the viewers, or one piece of advice, or just one, drop of knowledge, because I know that you like to share that, what would you tell them?
Whatever you want to do, do it. Don't let anybody tell you can't do something. Do it. Even if you get there and you fail, I would rather you be at a point in your life where it wasn't a man I wish with a man I did. Make those wish statements, do statements, and most definitely.
Y'all heard it here first. Y'all, you take that in, man. Take that in, soak on it, sleep on it.
Come on now.
But he's giving y'all free game. Free game right now.
That's free.
In a few years, though, y'all got to pay to subscribe to that. So definitely get it while it's hot. Again, I just want to say thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Most definitely.
Anytime, man. But like I said, man, we really appreciate Dionysius. He's been in Xavier with me these past 3-4 years. So again, huge thanks for him for not only doing this podcast, but what you guys don't know, he actually will help me a lot of times if I need help editing, if I need help learning something. So again, a lot of stuff I've learned in mass comm. I appreciate you, man.
Most definitely appreciate you too.
This season, this episode 2 coming out Saturday. So by the time y'all see this, will be Saturday. But again, we talked about college basketball. We talked about Dionysius podcasting. Stay tuned for the next season. Hopefully next time y'all see this NBA official season. So
come on now, we ESPN next. Yes, sir.